Well, the minority there is giving government a 3-day ultimatum to evacuate Ghanaian students in Wuhan, China, over the coronavirus outbreak or face their wrath. The minority says the government has no business not evacuating the students who are Ghanaian because the situation in Wuhan is deteriorating. The spokesperson for the minority on foreign affairs, Okujeto Ablakwa, told a media briefing in Parliament today that government is being callous and shirking its responsibility by not evacuating the students.
Our nationals who are stranded. We have been in touch with the student leadership, with the students themselves, and they paint a very horrendous, a very, very tortuous predicament. They have run out of supplies. The $4,200 that the Ghanaian government through our embassy in China released to the students have long been spent. They've run out of money, and they tell us that even with those of them who have personal resources, most of the shops are closed, and so they cannot find shops to buy the nose masks which they need to protect themselves. Remember that these nose masks, the health experts advise that they should change them as often. You should not use a nose mask for more than 4 hours continuous and all of that. So you need to use multiple nose masks in a day. They've run out of funds, shops are closed, and what is even making their situation more precarious is that now the university authorities are confirming cases very close to them in their dormitories where they live. And the Chinese authorities are saying that to manage and contain the situation, they are converting all those dormitories and all those halls into emergency response centers. So they are living with people who have contracted the virus. Very, very, very dangerous. And we are saying that we cannot continue this way with this dereliction of duty, this insensitive and callous approach to such a global health emergency, which unfortunately our government has, the approach our government has adopted. We are also saying that Ghana has the capacity to evacuate. We did that 9 years ago when the Libyan civil war erupted. I was privileged at the time as Deputy Minister for Information to serve on the Emergency Evacuation Committee. We evacuated more than 16,000 Ghanaians who were caught up in that civil war. With the help of NADMO, the Ministry of the Interior, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, the International Organization for
Okujeto Ablakwa is minority spokesperson on foreign affairs. Well, the ranking member on Parliament's Health Committee, Kwabena Minta Akando, says government has 3 days to respond. He also wants Chinese nationals living here in Ghana to be screened again after 9 suspected cases tested negative.
Must be made to report at the various regional hospitals for screening, because that is the origin of the coronavirus, especially when we have had suspected cases and by God's grace has turned out to be negative. And so I believe that all Chinese in this country must report to their respective regional capitals for screening.
Wouldn't that amount to unfair targeting?
Because not at all, because that is the origin of the disease, especially those who came from China not too long ago, you understand. And you realize that, for me, Chinese are found in our hinterlands. That's where we don't have very robust health structures. And so this is a very fair, even in some countries, before you enter, they screen you. And so if there's an outbreak and the origin of the virus is China, and we are screening Chinese in this country, I don't think it's out of place. It's a humble suggestion, and I think that that will serve as proactiveness.
Okay. And What's your demand as well with the ultimatum that you're giving the government?
What we are saying is that we don't have the luxury of time to wait, and therefore the leadership, the Akufo-Addo-led government, must take steps immediately to evacuate Ghanaians who are in China, especially the students in China, so that at least we can have protocols in place for identification, if you like, diagnosis and management if we happen to detect the case. Understand? So I believe that it's in the right order.
And you're giving a 3-day ultimatum?
Yes, because the disease or the virus is fast spreading in a matter of days. In fact, for your information, only yesterday, about 100 people died. 100 people. So far, it's been the highest death toll. And so we don't have any time to wait.
And what happens after the 3-day ultimatum?
Well, the leadership will take a decision, and we believe that we must start to mount the pressure for government to do the needful, because we can't afford to leave Ghanaians outside this country or Ghanaians in China to their fate. After all, especially the students, they are going to learn and come back and contribute their quota to the development of this country.
And that's what's been happening in Parliament. We certainly will be following up on this story and having a bigger conversation about it. Now, yesterday happens to be the deadliest day in since coronavirus outbreak in China. And it's still a situation that the Chinese government is dealing with, actually somehow overwhelmed, despite building 2 hospitals in like 10 days.